I will say it once again. If I don't think it's appropriate for someone to call CPS on Ethan Klein, why the fuck would I ever think it's appropriate for someone to kill Ethan Klein? Are you stupid? Of course, that is insane. Look, this is Free Palestine has shown up at my house and parked in my driveway. I'm not exaggerating when I say I worry about these people killing me all the time. I have multiple people with full psychosis that email me obsessively. Free Palestine has shown up at my house, parked in my driveway, and emailed me pictures of my front door telling me they were going to come in and kill me. It also feels as though there are so many people that are simply narcissistic and just trying to make this issue all about themselves, like they are the biggest victims. Something that I brought up, aside from Brianna Woo, which is really funny because like she's not, she's not Jewish. She didn't know anything about Israel until October 7, and even then she knows less since October 7. And yet she has become this Hasbara operative, literally went to Israel, and is basically making this entire thing about herself, where she's like, oh, I'm victim to anti-Semitic attacks as well. Like people are coming after me because they know that I'm like a prominent pro-Israel person. It's like, what the fuck are you saying? Dude, shut up. Shut up. Anyway, but there's another example of this as well, and I tweeted about this yesterday. This account says, I wonder if there's a mental illness, term for a mental illness that makes one compelled to center themselves in any and all events. As you watch Hasan fans and Twitter leftists celebrate the murder of 2 innocent Israelis, okay, didn't happen, understand that me and Hila are just as valid targets to them. I don't think so. That's ridiculous. I've known this as people like Hasan and iDubbbz lecture me about hallucinating threats. I knew this the moment I ended Leftovers. Why would I want to be a member of a community that would literally cheer on my death? There is a toxic, violent, nihilistic extremism brewing on the left, and it should scare all of us. No, this is a hallucination. I will say it once again. If I don't think it's appropriate for someone to call CPS on Ethan Klein, why the fuck would I ever think it's appropriate for someone to kill Ethan Klein? Are you stupid? Of course, that is insane. That is psychotic. That is a psychotic assessment. Okay? No one. Anyway, to which I said, 2 Israeli embassy officials get killed, and Ethan Klein predictably moves to make the moment about himself from the comfort of his mansion as the criminal state his community keeps defending continues with his unlimited child murder. And then he responded to that by cutting off his own silly statement this time and just simply showing mine. Imagine saying this to any other minority group in the wake of a violent tragedy. To which I said, Lemao, still going on, by the way. You are an immensely privileged, wealthy YouTuber who's using the backdrop of a live stream child holocaust to try and make drama slop as you call for deplatforming of pro-Palestinian voices. Have some fucking dignity. You are not a victim, just a narcissist. That's it. It's like that age-old conservative meme of the conservative lady from the UK being like, this is what it feels like to be a fucking white woman in the UK, a conservative white woman, and it's a target on her forehead. And someone responds, yeah, this is a perfect analogy because no one's coming after you and you fucking place the target on your forehead. Yeah, Katie Hopkins, yeah. And what you need to understand, is this, okay? Yeah, this is how it feels to be a white conservative woman. Perfect analogy because that's not a real target and you've put it there yourself. Now, the reason why I bring this up is because I need you to understand something. Israel is a right-wing institution, okay? It is a fascist. It's the most right-wing you can get, but it's a fascist, right-wing, reactionary country. And my job as someone who tries to get Americans to understand certain concepts will always utilize the existing contextualization tools that you have in front of you. That's why I always talk about how this is exactly what Israel defenders do. This is exactly what Ethan Klein is doing. The only difference here, however, is that anti-Semitism is a real point of marginalization, and yet people who are pro-Israel bastardize that concept and weaponize that concept to make it seem like people are against them simply on the virtue of them being Jewish, when there are more Christian Zionists in this fucking country than there are Jews across the board, Zionists and anti-Zionists alike. But it is the exact same thing. It's a permanent spiral of self-victimization. when you are defending one of the most powerful nations in the region with nuclear arms doing a fucking genocide on a captive population that it has occupied illegally for 77 years. And it's backed by, this country, Israel, is backed by the most powerful nation on earth that is offering it unlimited arms. And you want to present yourself as the victim living in that most powerful nation on the planet for not being able to describe your pro-Israel position without scrutiny. The amount of privilege here is unfathomable. The amount of privilege here is unfathomable in comparison to like the average black or brown or even white anti-Zionist, even Jewish anti-Zionist. And I'm not even going to make this comparison to the average Palestinian, okay? Because that is disgusting to even mention in the same category. There is no comparison whatsoever in comparison to obviously the average Palestinian and what they're going through. But even in terms of like how you claim to be consistently victimized here, like there are people in the United States of America who are anti-Zionist that are literally getting blackbagged by this administration, and you still run around as a wealthy fucking YouTuber who just wants to make drama content off of all of this stuff. And you can't deal with the heat, but you cannot get out of the kitchen. Like there are plenty of people out there who are still very much pro-Israel, okay, due to the endless amount of social conditioning that they have experienced, taken for granted, believed to be true. Having said that, at least a lot of those people have the dignity to shut the fuck up. You know, there are plenty of people who are right now shutting the fuck up. And the reason for why they're shutting the fuck up is because even they understand it's perhaps not the best look to self-victimize when everyone can see how devastating the situation is.